So what we're looking at here are some smaller versions of Gleditsia aquatica. It's also known as water locust. And this is a member of the lagoon family, also known as swamp locust. Pretty much diagnostic on this plant, besides the bipinnate compound leaves you see here, are these very long spikes that grow on the branches, especially on younger trees. They tend to be on the branches. On larger trees, they tend to grow up on the trunk. This is a sun-loving, shade-hating tree. Here you can see a really large one. They grow very large. The habitat is river swamps and slough margins. It's native to the southeast and nearby areas of the U.S. Over here on this trunk, you can see some of those thorns, very large. The tree is hermaphroditic, which means it has both male and female flowers on the same tree. It's a nitrogen fixer, which means it has special bacteria in the roots that allow it to make its own nitrogen source. The tree is deciduous and it grows to 12 meters. It's a very slow growing tree. It's used for fence posts because it tends to grow so straight. It leaves out in June through October and it flowers July through August. Seeds ripen in October and December. The tree is highly resistant to fungus. This one has some fungus going on. It tolerates wet soils and atmospheric pollution. It's planted to stabilize riverbanks, also to rehabilitate wetlands. Many members of this family, Gleditsia, around the world, some are threatened by habitat loss. All have spines, long spines. This tree is used in Chinese medicine. It may have anti-tumor properties. It's used to treat inflammatory diseases. There's a profusion of these 3 to 5 inch long forms. It produces eye-shaped seed pods, 1 seed per pod. Dispersal is most likely via water. Not a very common tree, either in North America or in Florida. See the very careless leaves. And there's the trunk that goes straight up to the canopy. Let's see, that palm tree. Gleditsia aquatica, swamp locust. This actually sucker is growing off this larger tree. As you can see, it's springing up along the roots. Here's the trunk, here it is. You can see, actually you can see it much better. Smooth, really smooth tree. It has these little gnarled, rocky-like protrusions from the trunk. Trunks tend to grow very straight. Trees grow very tall. On the older trees, you can see these really long, nasty-looking spines. And I'm theorizing that these were to protect this tree from grazing animals. What kind of grazing animals could this possibly be protecting itself from? I think it was giant ground sloths, but hard to say. We don't have ground sloths anymore, so this tree sort of evolved with some kind of predation to make it grow these spines. And here you can see these spines, these bright red spines. The tree is useful for rehabilitating wetlands and stabilizing shorelines. Tree roots do a lot to anchor the soil, prevent erosion. The trees are very sturdy, they're very slow growing, resistant to fungus. You rarely see these trees rotting here in the woods. Wood is used for fence posts because it's both very straight and probably very rot resistant. The tree likes wet soils, flooded soils. This tree can withstand months of being underwater. The roots can be underwater for months. I've actually seen it here when we had a hurricane. These trees were underwater for about 3 months, and they came back just as good as can be. Also, the tree tolerates pollution very well. Honey locust grows more in the Midwest. This tree is found more in the south, along the southern Mississippi Delta, up into Illinois, sporadically. It's not super common. You can see some seedlings coming up here. Here we can see the smaller tree of the swamp locust, and notice the bipinnate compound leaves, indicative of the legume family, pea family. And you can see the thorns along the branch of this. I don't know if you can see the thorns very well, but and you can see in the shade this tree really is not growing very much. It's just basically a stick with a couple leaves on it. Gleditsia aquatica, water locust.